Welcome back to the Corner Post podcast. I am Seth Carl, and with me on the phone is Mia Moon.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I want to talk real quick about the crowd shots that WWE is now using obsessively in their production in the the premium live event. I can't say pay-per-view. That word is now non-existent. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT. They are showing the crowds like never before with drone footage, with pullbacks, with zooms, with pans, with everything. Sometimes in the middle of a match while action is actually happening. And I want to hear what your thoughts on that are, because I think it's a very noticeable element of production.
I think obsessive was definitely the right word. It is great to see how many people are coming out to the shows, and that they're making these new records and stuff every week with attendance, and I can appreciate that they want to be a little braggadocious about it, especially while other wrestling companies are not doing as well.
And that's what that's what it is. They're stroking their egos, among other things.
Yeah, I think some of it's trying to tie in with the people, trying to say like we're all one here together, we're all part of the same universe. So I do think that's a little bit of their efforts with this.
Well, yeah, that's what they're telling us. They're saying, in the official statements is they want to feature more of the fans. But I think what they want to do is I think they're showing off. I think that's some of it. I think it's braggadocious. I think
it definitely is.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, look at us. We have our 23rd sellout in a row or whatever. Not a single empty seat. And you said some other companies not doing as well. It's a lot of that is locationally. Everybody who has probably stumbled upon or across, take your pick, this podcast has probably seen the pictures of some of the AEW arenas being half full or nothing on the hard cam side. But I want to be fair to AEW. Some of the markets they've run in are probably not the best options for them. Like, they sell out Jacksonville, which is their home, like, all the time. If they go into a hot wrestling city like Chicago, Pittsburgh maybe, would be a Philly, Pittsburgh, the Pennsylvania, the Northeast that isn't... Like, I bet you anything they could sell out Boston. Mm-hmm. I think they did with Mercedes Moné's debut. If they didn't sell that out, they put a lot of people in the TD Garden. Mm-hmm. So it's not every event, but then sometimes they just show up in a weird place. They're like, oh, live from Huntsville, Alabama, and that's when it just doesn't translate well. And I'm not picking on Huntsville, and I don't particularly know if they've been there recently and how the draw was. But I think WWE, Tony Khan gets a little braggadocious with ratings and with things that happens, and he's very verbal, and he takes a lot of jabs at the Fed. And I think this is 100% a response to Tony Khan taking shots. They're like, oh, you want to take shots? Here's a crowd shot. There's a crowd shot. There's a crowd shot. We know this guy in the ring just hit his finisher, but we're not going to show you that. We're going to show you the crowd shot. So that's kind of where my take on it is. Mm-hmm. I kind of dig it in a way because...
It's a fair take.
Oh, thank you. I dig it in a way because we are... It's the WWE universe, which I don't think we're even really calling it that anymore. But we're showing the crowds, we're showing that you can be a part of this. I think everybody loves the idea of possibly showing up and being on TV and feeling like they belong. So I think there's a bit of that. I think it is some of that fan belonging element.
Yeah, people are into that.
But I think overall, again, it's just stroking. I think every time Tony Khan tweets something about, McMahon or Triple H or just the Fed in general, I think their response is 9 more crowd shots on Monday Night Raw.
They maybe should worry about it eventually. I'm sure it'll take quite some time, but biting them in the ass, because what goes up must come down. And wrestling always is going to go through lulls.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know how they're going to show it when attendance starts dipping down. I mean, they can't sell out arenas forever, theoretically.
No. Eventually, I don't want it to happen anytime soon, but eventually, yep. It'll be interesting to see that watch You'll know when that's happening. You'll know exactly what's happening to ticket sales because the Titan Tron will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it'll take up 1/3 of the arena. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but
I do like the big crowd shots, but I will say that sometimes I think it takes away from making it feel like it's a big production in the ring and with their entrances. And we'll talk about that in a second. But, I mean, sometimes when the wrestlers getting to the ring and, and they're doing their little intro thing and the crowd's going crazy for them, I mean, we're cutting away for the people at home to the crowd more than we're cutting to the wrestler. And I mean, I don't want to watch what people in the crowd are doing that often.
So you think it's having a negative effect in taking the attention off of the product itself or the individual wrestlers?
I think it is taking it off of the individual wrestlers. I mean, I want to, when a Randy Orton comes into the ring or something, you want to see him do all the things, raise the hands, be his own level of braggadocious. I mean, and while it is fun to see fans in the crowd go crazy, we have so many wide angle shots that we're not even seeing the individual people. And I mean, and I think part of the fun in days past when they would show the crowd is, you're showing that kid who's crying because somebody lost, or you're showing a woman who's losing her mind screaming because her favorite wrestler's there, or some grown man, acting like a 5-year-old again. And
Yep.
And they're not really showing that. They're just showing it as a whole, which some of it's okay, but I think that it's a little too obsessive was the perfect word that you used.
Okay, so you and I both agree. I like the way it looks. Like, aesthetically, I like, but like between matches or
it looks cool, but like 20% of the time. Maybe not, as often as they're doing it.
And credit where it's due, I will take a large pan crowd shot of the entire arena 10 times over before I take another Slim Jim commercial or a promo package telling us why the two guys about to fight have been fighting for the last few weeks.
Yes, can we be done with the commercials?
That's another topic for another day, I get it. But if you're already watching, man, we don't need to know why they're fighting. We're already here. Who are we appealing to? Okay,
we've been here.
So you and I, similar take on the crowd shots.
Yeah, I probably feel it more strongly than you. I mean, you're probably more patient with it, and
I think I like them more than you. I think it does make the person at home feel like they might, for a minute, be sitting up in that balcony. Yeah, so,
but I'd rather see the show in the ring,
Okay, yeah, it's same like, yeah. Okay. That makes a ton of sense. Okay, we're in agreement on that one.
And the entrances, I mean, they're kind of like toned down now, and they seem like way shorter than they used to be. And for a lot of people, I mean, especially like a lot of husbands have wives that they're putting them through watching wrestling at home, and maybe the women aren't really into it, but they do like that. I mean, the entrance for a wrestler has always been a super fun part of the match. For kids, for women, even for a lot of guys. They want to hear the guys' music. They want to hear them come to the ring, see what crazy outfit they're wearing, see what dance they're doing.
Oh, every single guy on this planet has had the Stone Cold Steve Austin glass break in their head when they walk into a party. And they just...
I mean, Seth Rollins' music is playing in my head right now as I'm talking about this. And... I think that that's what people want to see, and it's unfortunate that it's shortened because I think that it makes it feel more like you're watching a local show or a TNA type of thing. And yes, WWE has their huge production money tied up in this, so they're going to make it look good no matter what. But does it look as good as it used to? I don't know. I mean, it's nice. I don't mind that they did away with the 3D images and all the crazy over-the-top stuff, and we don't need, a half a mile long entrance ramp, but...
I do miss the big grandeur of the stage.
Yes.
The entrance ramp being 5 or 6 feet up off the ground instead of, like, just parked up on cinder blocks or something.
Maybe for the pay-per-views, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's definitely it.
But even just the regular, Monday nights and Friday nights, like, it just seems like a way shorter ramp to the ring, and...
Well, you can get 150 more people sitting in there, and... They continue in this economy to brag about the gates they're doing, which, I mean, I love that business is good, but there's a part of me that's, I mean, when they say we've had the biggest gate, what they mean is we've made so much money on this. And meanwhile, a lot of Americans are struggling to buy groceries. But again, different topic for a different pod.
I think it's almost almost detrimental to each superstar's progression too, because there were a lot of things that a lot of superstars have done on that entrance ramp to help work on their character or whatever, and it kind of takes away, it gives them a little bit less of a chance to do that. They have a shorter period of time they have to make it happen in. But even if you think about, not even Attitude Era, but post-Attitude Era, you'd have people like, maybe Randy Orton's a good idea. His entrances, when they had the longer ramp, where you had time to really get invested and see what the people were doing. They could communicate and get closer with more of the fans. Now when you see a wrestler touch hands with a fan, it's maybe just one or two, whereas they could go side to side. And I think it almost cheapens it a bit. I'm interested to see if it's going to go back to how it was, or if this is just the new normal.
It'll be interesting to see. In my head, while you were talking about that, I was thinking of a wrestler by the name of Edge. No, not Adam Copeland. Edge. And how he used to run all the way to one end of the stage and then all the way back to the other. Well, give it to me. And now I'm picturing that in my head with this new setup. And he's taking like 3 steps. And he's like, come on. And you're like 3 steps this way. What you got? Yeah. And that's it. Because there's no big ramp. There's no big production. There's not room for the crowd work too.
It's a good example.
And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. It does take away. And your entrance is one place where you get to be a little bit different. The casual fan tuning in, 2 guys wrestling in a ring, they don't or somebody flipping through the channels, they may not understand what they're seeing in the ring for the very first time.
Yeah, but this guy did a funny gesture, or this guy looks cool, he looks larger than life.
Look at this badass walking into the ring with purpose and confidence. But when he's 9 steps and he's there. Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter for someone like a Samoa Joe who just does the same thing when he walks to the ring every time and there's nothing happening. But but there's some wrestlers where, it really gives them a chance to shine. And I think that it makes the whole production look like it's a much smaller thing. And if WWE's main goal with that is to make it more focused on the actual in-the-ring wrestling, I don't think that they need to step in and do that, because we've got there's great wrestlers right now where it's not necessary to heavy hand that. I think that the staff that they have right now is doing such an amazing job, and they're on such a different level of athleticism that it's not even necessary for WWE to try to control that.
Okay, see, I'm in a different point. I think the reason they're doing it is 100% financial. I think they can save money by having less equipment there.
Yeah, and you're probably right.
There's a truck or 2 that don't have to be on the road to carry the entrance ramp.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt if that's what they're doing.
You're saving money by keeping 2 trucks in Stamford. And then on top of that, you have, let's say, by having the lower profile entrance, you're opening up, let's say, call it 200 seats at $100 a pop. That's $20,000. Is that math right? Somebody check my math. It feels like $20,000. It's 200 times 100.
I don't do math.
Yeah, that's $20,000. Thank God I got that. It's late. Thank God I got that right. But and now you're thinking, well, we're bragging about having the highest gate, and it's a sellout, which is great. But the more and more pretty soon there's not even going to be room between the ring and the front row. They're just going to have it pushed up so forward like a Game Changer wrestling event where the fans are going to be banging because you can fit an extra 300 people in there. But it
makes me feel like those 100-degree indie Florida shows I used to go to. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
I understand that all too well. All right. Well, I think we should probably wrap that up. We've hit the crowd. We've hit the crowd shots, and we've hit the shortened ramp and the sad little Titan Tron. And we should talk about a whole lot of more stuff on future episodes, right?
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We are the Corner Post Podcast, and we will catch you on the next one.
See you later.
See you later.